Thanks for staying with us. It could be a devastating and shattering experience when one spouse cheats. However, it could be a catastrophe when there is a love child or children as a result of it. On our previous Ladies' Night, the ladies had a torrid session discussing their take on men cheating and expecting the woman to accept not only the affair, but the love child or children. Recall that recently, the family saga of popular artist Two-Face and his wife Annie was all over social media. Also, popular Hollywood celebrity Gabrielle Union recently opened up about her emotional struggles when her husband had a baby on her with another woman amid her fertility issues. If this case was reversed, would these men have been calmer? However, how would you think Two-Face or Dwayne Wade would have reacted if their wives had come in with another child? Tonight, the ladies and I will be talking about this. Accept the love child or do not accept the love child is another thing, irrespective of the society, what society may think. Men, this is what the deal breaker will be for you. Let us know what the deal breaker will be for you. Would you forgive your wife for having an affair? And would you accept the love child? Please let us hear what you are saying. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS on WhatsApp to 081 8038 4663. We'll take whatever you have to say now. But before we go into this, you see, this is so interesting. Why? Because the ladies talked about this on Tuesday.
Yes.
And they had a lot to say about this, based on respect, based on what we believe in, based on our cultural and social values, based on our societal beliefs. And Ade from the UK also made a contribution, which he says, let me dig it out, where he said that if it was a woman that actually, that women also participate in adulterous acts, which we have women coming out with promiscuity, sorry, I'm saying promiscuity, promiscuity, where a man had to discover that his wife had an affair when they had to go to the embassy to get a DNA test done. And it was exposed that the last child of the man wasn't his child. Would that man have accepted that child? No, which is what every other man in Nigeria would have done. They wouldn't have accepted the child because they feel that that child isn't theirs. Let's not talk about the fact that we have the family stigma on that child. We have the problem of we having the man bringing in a love child. The family can say, this is our son's child. But the woman might decide to bring the child closer or tell the child to stay away or treat the child like the child isn't hers in the first place. But the man, believe me, it would take the grace of God for him to accept the child that has been brought in by another woman, by his wife, from another man. Cultural and social beliefs will tell us, hey, this is wrong, it's a taboo. I don't know if I'm reading your mind, but I think from where I come from, they would totally say no to this. So let's first of all go to via Zoom and talk to Uti and see what she has to say about this before we come to the ladies in the studio. Hi, Uti, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been listening to your banter. Okay. You know, it's interesting because I don't think that men do well with forgiving women when they cheat. But I think that these situations are unique when it comes to having children in the mix. And I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen the man refuse to keep the child, refuse to basically kicked them out of the house, both the mother and child. And I've also seen on the flip side where the man has said, I raised this child from birth.
Right.
We've gone past the point of, whether it's DNA or no DNA, this is my child. So it can go in multiple ways, depending,
Absolutely.
for me, what I see is the quality of the relationship. And I know that there was I can't remember which of the shows I was on, where Uwa was making a point that when there are no third parties involved, right, where it's just the couple dealing with their issues, there tends to be a lot more forgiveness, there tends to be a lot more communication. But then, of course, once
Absolutely.
third parties are involved, then people have to think about how they're perceived and how other people's opinions might matter in the case. So it's a tough one. Certainly, I would say that it's easier for the woman to take in the man's love child than typically it would be for a man to
Take in.
keep the love child. But then we're also seeing that these occurrences are increasing. If you follow social media blogs, if you read places like Nairaland, these stories are very commonplace. I've known people who have had secret DNA tests on their children because they're not sure. So I think I would leave my final comment at the fact that it is probably more common than we think, with a lot of kids actually growing up in homes where who they think their parent is may not be their parent. Certainly becoming more commonplace.
Thank you. So, Norma, you see, the relationship, let's work with the premise of Two-Face, Sidibia, and his wife, and Dwayne, where we have individuals like them talking about their marital challenges in public. Do you think Two-Face would have accepted what happened with his supposed baby mama with his wife, if she had come in with a love child?
Well, I'm sure Two-Face would be in the best position to express that for himself.
With a premise.
But I would want to say something, actually,
Yes.
and it is that most people do not put themselves in the position of a situation until they find themselves in that situation.
Absolutely.
I've seen this happen over and over again. Even put aside infidelity, as simple as being offended with someone that did something to you, and then I ask the flip question, if you were the person who was now the offender, how would you want to be treated? And then you see them pause, like now it dawns on them that you can actually be the victim. I totally agree that it is disrespectful of a spouse, whether man or woman, to engage in acts outside of a commitment that they have with someone that they claim to love. And eventually the results, the other spouse has to deal with the repercussions of their actions. I totally stand for that. But I also am of the opinion that of the golden rule that says, do unto others as you would want them to. A lot of times people are ready to throw out the stone to condemn the person who has committed the crime.
Absolutely.
However, the other person, the question, and I totally agree with Uti where she said that sometimes when third parties are involved, you actually don't see the bigger picture. So with all of your rage and anger, you just lash out. But you forget that at some point you're going to commit a crime that is equally unforgiving. Now, in that situation, how would you want to be treated? For me, it's going to be tough. I won't say that it's something that will happen overnight, where I'll say, oh, I forgive you, where's the child, and we live happily ever after. It's going to be tough, but it's going to take a process, a healing process, to get to that point where it is acceptable. So for me, it's about whatever actions that you want to carry out, be ready when it's your turn. To accept the consequences if the person says, oh no. because tomorrow I might be the one who has committed a crime.
Exactly. So,
Marianne,
extend the same rule to me. It should apply. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm not married and I don't know about cheating yet. Lucky enough for me. But I'm going to start with where Uti stopped. Society is part of the problem. Too many naysayers and people who have things to say about your relationship and how it should be. It's preposterous. It's sacrilegious. It's against our family. Uncle, if we check very well, you have like 10 children.
In different
they will come
parts
out
of
when
the
you
world.
die. Excuse me? But we're very quick to knock other people. And sometimes we forget that when we're pointing one finger, the others are facing us. And we never really stop to think about it. So we put too much pressure on the people who are in relationships. So I think that we need to also, go past those facades and all of those voices. We need to quiet all that noise, just as you guys have pointed out. Look within yourselves and say, first things first, where did I go wrong? Because I'm one of those people who believe that if my partner is cheating on me, I need to know where I dropped the ball.
Exactly. Yeah, but sometimes it's not you that
I'm just saying. So you need to cover all grounds. Let's have a conversation. What happened? What did I do? Or what made you do it? And let me understand. But then again, it's also difficult when there's a child involved. It's easy for me to say, I'm going to give you a second chance and I hope that you don't do this again. But when I see that child, even if I get to forgive you 5 years down the line, every time I see that kid, it's going to remind me of your infidelity. So that's whether it's the man that brought the child or the woman. And I'm sorry, there are men who are a bit forgiving, but the percentage is low.
Yes.
Percentage is low.
Yes.
Like I said at the beginning, it depends on where you grew up, the family, where you,
with
your
a
environment.
love child.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
yes.
There are people who've done it and it doesn't make the news.
You see, the man would say, I raised this child.
Yes.
You cannot tell me. Look,
yes.
Look. I mean, they convince themselves that the child looks like that. Look, he's got my nose. He's got my eyes. The thing is that they've invested in the situation. So hearing years down the line or later that this child is not, they can't connect with that. They may be unforgiving of your action, but it's not the child's fault.
Exactly. I was about to say that child didn't ask to be born.
Hold that thought. So let's take a short break. We'll be right back. If you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are asking the man, would you forgive your wife for having an affair, and would you accept the love child as a result of the affair? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 8038 4663. Our phone line is now open. Please call us on 070 2500 7749. Now, back to you, ladies. Uti, you've been quiet. Where is Uti? You've been quiet. Look.
I'm right here.
Please just hold on. Once Marianne is done with her thought, she was saying something, so please finish it up.
Before we went on the break,
Yes,
I think
please.
it was in 2015, between 2015 and 2016.
Yes.
The famous fella Nicola Kuti's oldest son realized that most of the children were not his.
Oh
Most
my
of the children
gosh.
he raised, he made the news. It was.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he made the news. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2016 or 2015. He realized that most of those children were not his.
Wow.
And for him, it was really disheartening because his children are all grown.
Yes.
So he could have spent his whole life thinking that these were my children, but it made the news. It was just a sensational story at the time, but I think after a while, because who are those children going to call dad? They know him as their father, so it's very difficult to detach. So I could tell from that story that he was livid because of what his wife did. Now, he does not necessarily have a grouse with the children because they did not ask to be born. In all of this, they're innocent. They themselves are going to be angry. Someone told me a story last week about a man who just before he died, realized that the children were not his.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, the daughter, he had 2 daughters and I think a son. And I think it was, the 2 daughters were not his, and it was only the boy that was his. He did not let the children know. He did not react in any bad way. He had conversations with his wife. He acted like nothing was wrong because he had raised his children. All he did, without his wife's knowledge, was to change the will. Now, when he died, everything was given to
his son.
One child. And so the other children are wondering,
what happened to
what's
us?
going on? And he said, the lawyer said, ask your mother.
As simple as
wow.
that.
That is.
Now, Uti, I'm going to go to the angle of ego, a man's ego. Where do you think a man's ego plays in this?
You have to go there, right?
Yes, in this madness that, you know, when a woman brings in another child.
No, I mean, ego plays a huge part, right?
Yes.
But I also think that it depends on what kind of relationship the man has had with the child and at what age they find out. Like, look at the example that Marianne just gave. If the children are already adults, right? I mean, you could choose to sever your relationship with the kids. But if you've actually spent a lifetime raising these children, then, you know, are you going to throw all of that away? But I mean, we can only speak from it as our perspective as women, because you need to be a man to be able to speak to it. But from what I know of men's egos, it can be easily bruised. But so you know that there will be volatility in the response, or you expect that there'll be volatility in the response. But it's such a unique situation because there's so many factors. Ego is just one. So I can't sit here and say, oh yes, ego will definitely play a role in it, because this kind of thing goes to the very heart of a man. You know, you think that this is your seed, this is the child that you fathered. And then you find out that this isn't the case. There's so many factors to consider that somehow, in my mind, ego is not number one. Ego is, you know, somewhere further down. What just happened?
Hello? I think we lost her for
connection.
I think we lost her for a minute there. So while we're waiting for her to come back, can you take up from where she stopped on ego for a man? Because I think ego plays a huge role. The moment the man feels, hey, this woman has stepped out and she's brought in another man's child to me, it's like you bruised his ego. During the last show where they talked about women having to accept the love child, a man actually called into the show and said that if he finds his wife going out of the marital circle and going to get attention out there, what he would do is examine himself. But do you think majority of the men in Nigeria and across the world actually would think along that line, where they would examine themselves? Instead, they would rather think, oh, this woman has disgraced me. She has spoilt my...
I think that will be in the context of the African society.
Absolutely.
If I mean, I beg to be corrected,
Absolutely.
right?
Culturally.
Because we are very cultural people.
Absolutely.
And the African setting makes you feel as a man, the person in charge. So if a woman takes a step or carries out an action that bruises your ego, it looks like you're not the man of the house. So that's what it registers, you know, so that's what a majority of men will be thinking of. People will laugh to say, oh, I mean, how can you be the man of the house and the woman steps out to bring a child into the home? So it's a cultural thing for us as Africans. But outside of the African setting, there are a lot of, they could or could not decide to not because of ego per se. It may just be that, okay, this is something I can't stand, or you have gone outside the context of our commitment to one another, or there's now distrust in the relationship. So they say, you know what, this can't go on anymore. But for the African mentality or the African mindset or the man that is raised in an African setting, most of the time, one of the major things that they're going to struggle with is the ego, the fact that you've disgraced them as men. not per se the
Very
action
true.
that has been
Very
carried
Hold
out.
that thought.
Very true.
We have Timothy from Benin. Hi, Timothy. Hello. Hello, Timothy. You're live. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine,
Yeah, I
thank
can
you.
hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I'm fine. I want to contribute to your program.
Please go
Can
ahead.
I contribute?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Timothy,
You see,
can you tell
let me tell you something. Yeah, the DNA. The DNA.
Please turn down, please,
The observable-
Timothy, please turn down the volume of your TV set because we can actually hear the echo from here. Thank you. So turn it down. Good.
All right now.
Good. We can hear you.
Is it all right now?
Absolutely. Please carry on.
Is it all right now?
Yes.
As I was saying, the DNA the women, everybody has so many softwares. So a woman that have had affair with any man from the day she started having affair, the semen remain in her body. So sometimes those semen becomes active and then fertilize the egg of the woman, even when she's in her husband's house. And then she deliver a baby. And when you do the DNA, it will be different from the man. Not necessarily the woman went outside. This deed was done when she was moving from one man to the other before she got married. So therefore, sexual activity is meant for married men and married women. It is not meant to be done before marriage. That is why the semen remain. And that is major problem we have now, because it is not a result of infidelity. The woman went out. It has been done long time ago. They are becoming active. The software is triggering and it's active. The software in any DNA is more than the software that ever been made since humans started using software. So it's a mystery. So that's why it requires discipline for a woman to close her laps before she gets married. Thank you very much.
Spoken like a true Benin man. Thank you, Timothy.
I really wanted to ask Timothy what's his profession and what's his.
That was
you know,
quite
because
elaborate.
You can't put that kind of
description.
information out there without telling me that you are a DNA specialist or you are a doctor of sorts or a medical person.
Have you had any dealings with Benin men or women?
Thank God not.
Well, Norma was talking about ego and she was talking about the cultural effects of it. So what about the societal effect of it?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier on, society plays a big role in the African setting, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it's Morocco, it's African. And the first thing we say is, this is a shame to the family name. We're never really thinking about the people involved, what could have led to it. And I like what Nelma said. Examine yourself. You know, what exactly could have caused? There has to be something that was amiss. Apart from the fact that you once in a while have either a man or a woman who's just promiscuous.
Hold that thought. We'll take Fatima from Lagos. Fatima from Lagos, hi.
Hello.
Hello, Fatima.
Hi. I want to give a shout out to Norma Efanga.
Hey.
Fatima, no problem. So that's a very, very important topic, actually, I must say.
Yeah.
You know, in this, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please. Carry on. We can hear you.
Okay. In this part of our world, the moment they realize a thing like that has happened, in fact, the society will just throw you away.
They will bash you.
The culture has not given women room to be able to be accepted in a thing like that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So, I really don't think every man will accept that. But you know, in a white man land, they believe that not every child must be biological. A child is a child. They see every child as innocent and must be accepted. So they adopt kids and they make them theirs. I've seen a situation where I think a friend's sister married a white, And along the line, she gave birth to another child outside and the white man accepted. But in Nigeria, they can't, the family of the man himself, you know, so because they think that whatever they are working for as a man, they need a child that will take up, you know, their legacy. And I don't think most family will accept that. That's just my contribution.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you. Look, I think Fatima has just raised a valid point, which has to do with our culture accepting and the fact that women have been stereotyped into not expressing themselves in that light. So if we women decide to, you know, step out of the comfort zone and say no to this, that we can do this and get away with it, what do you think will be the outcome of it?
Oh God, please.
It will be catastrophic.
Please, don't tell me that you're advocating that women should also try to be.
No, I just said it will be catastrophical. I didn't say that we should do it. Okay.
Uti.
So hi, Uti, you're back. We missed you for a minute there.
I was waiting for where Issy was going with that, because I was like, validating that this should become standard practice, or I mean, yes, mistakes happen. For me, I think that once you involve family, it's very difficult.
Absolutely.
For external family, extended family or external parties to wrap their head around the fact that this is somebody else's child. And you know, these situations are all unique in their own sense, because there's so many factors that get you to the point where, you know, these affairs happen, whatever the circumstances and the situations, they're always very unique. It's not paint by numbers. It's not, oh, you did one, so I did two, or this is how it happened. The stories, you know, the stories always differ. Really, the stories always differ. So you find that a lot of the time, it's a conscious decision. When I came back on just as that caller was speaking, and I thought to myself, you hear some things every day. So there's, you know, there's dormant sperm at this point. This is new biology, right? But these situations are very, very unique in the sense that each couple has to process it at that time.
Yes.
But I think that for me, the most important thing is always the children, right? Because whatever your mess is, the children didn't ask for it. There has to be a responsibility to the welfare of the children. So some people will keep it quiet. Like, you know what? Let's just keep going ahead. You know, let's not try and create situations. But you find that definitely the age of the child, the age of the relationship, the stage, all those things are factors that come into this. But please, let's not normalize it, even though, you know, we know it's happening and it's plenty.
Yes.
But let's not normalize it.
Men also believe that women actually believe that when a man steps out of the family or decides to have an affair, that means he has total disregard and lack of respect for the relationship he treasures with his spouse or whoever he's with. So do you think it's the same thing with a woman who decides to have an affair and also bring a child, love child home?
I think it swings both ways. I mean, it's disrespect on both parts, whether it's the man or the woman, because if you truly honor the commitment that you have, then except if you have found yourself in a vulnerable state where you already have issues going on and
or
then
you've been
suddenly
totally abandoned.
Or you've been totally abandoned. I mean, there's so many reasons why people, and that's why it's important that the two people who are involved have a conversation amidst the anger and the rage. Try to understand where the person is coming from, because it's one thing to make a mistake, it's another to continue to repeat that mistake. That means you do not have any form of regard for what you claim to have with this person that you claim to love. So yes, it borders seriously on disrespect, because you can love someone but you don't respect that person. Absolutely. By your actions, either the way you talk to them or the way you do certain things. It shows or it informs that person that they are not respected in the relationship. And it's important that we come to that place where we put ourselves in one another's shoes, because it's easy for you to just dismiss without realizing that you can be the victim tomorrow.
I just want to chip in that there are people who do it really good. They respect their wives. They treat them like
hide everything,
the best thing in the world, and they are cheating. They are so good at it. They are cheating, and they have one.
That's
so true.
Look, when somebody is cheating, there is something wrong somewhere. Whether it is by, so like you said, from one person's perspective, everything is great, everything is hunky-dory. And from another person's perspective, it's not, because let me even use the standard love languages. Somebody's there spending money all over the place, and the other person, money doesn't matter to them. So from perspective, he thinks he's doing everything right, and the woman is just like, look, I don't have your time, but I have your money. What do I want your money for? Love languages are different. But I just want to quickly take two comments that we have. One is from Raphael, and he's recommending a movie to us. He says, kindly watch Man, Woman, and Child full movie on YouTube. And the second comment is from Ade. Ade says, good evening, ladies. Both parties can't either forgive or forget, because it will always ring a bell living together. However, both couples should love each other wholeheartedly. Don't deny each other the indoor games on request. Be open and available to each other. Above all, they should stop giving excuses of getting tired at all times, but they do. Hashtag open the gates is your spouse. Tiredness is real.
Yes, I do have some comments.
Yes,
and this is from Benson. He says, good evening, ladies of Ways. Responding to Uti, it's even deeper than that, even from the scriptures, that the Almighty promised Abraham, yes, he had another child, yet the Almighty still insisted that Isaac is the promise for the generational blessing. This psychology continuously affects the subconscious of most men. So thinking that, okay, because it's from time immemorial, it's okay to do it. Then I have another comment. Even male animals don't raise the offspring of another male. Okay. They would rather kill off the kids and have their biological kids with the female species. Thus the word alpha male. Lions kill cubs, said by other lions to the lionesses, would be royal to them and bear their own cubs. And last one is, see, women and men are complementary and not the same. Women have more to lose in amorous relationship than men ever will. Societal expectations again.
Exactly.
Men and women are like spoon and pot. Okay. You don't allow all spoons into the pot so as not to sour the soup. The spoon and its contents can be desecrated and discarded, not the pot. The woman is held to a higher moral standard as a vessel and beacon of society.
Wait. I never knew men could be so philosophical.
Wow.
Look, spoon pot. Wow.
They're coming up with all kinds of things, even the Bible. They're very quick to quote the Bible. And this is not me saying that the Bible doesn't hold. I respect the Bible. I love the Bible. I'm a Christian. I'm a tongue-talking Christian, you know. But, you guys, I have a problem with men always making it feel that it's okay for a man to step out. It's okay if the man cheats. It's okay if the man has many wives. But when a woman decides today that, oh, well, men can marry 3. Why can't we marry 3? Oh, it's despicable. It is wrong.
You're held to a higher moral
standard. Yeah, don't hold me to a higher moral standard. Hold yourself, sir. Start with yourself, because you're supposed to, it's energy plus energy. Yes. If you're telling me that it's okay for you to cheat on me because you think that the world belongs to you, I will never respect you as a person. So, of course, you treat me bad, I want to reciprocate. Don't forget that a woman is like, I'm looking for the best word.
She'll multiply anything.
She multiply, exactly. So whatever you put into her, she's giving you double portion. She's giving you 100-fold. So respect her, she will give you respect. Simple.
So with that, let's take our final thoughts. 1 minute. No, 2 seconds actually.
2 seconds.
So let's take Uti. Yes, keep it quite short, please. Uti.
I mean, really, do we think, I think we said a lot today, do we think that men will accept the children. Some might not do. It just depends on the circumstances. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Whatever it is, the situation, the controversy, please think consideration. Put yourself in the picture and let it guide you on the decision to make with regards to infidelity and love children brought into the scene.
For me, I think that the child should be the priority of both people. The people who are involved are parents, they're adults, they can deal with their issues, but the psychology of that child needs to be taken into proper consideration. So whatever fighting, whatever decisions you make, please, whether the child is young or middle age, it will haunt them psychologically. So make the best decisions on their behalf.
For me, I would say always think about the child, think about why you got into the relationship in the first place, so that you can avoid all of these drama. You know, that's the first thing for me. And I think with that, I would say, before we go, I need to say this. Do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we are planning a giveaway just to say thank you for watching, believing in the Ways brand, and following the conversation. So do well to follow us on Instagram now at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Men forget, but never forgive. Women forgive, but never forget. By Robert Jordan. Thank you, ladies. I think we've had a fantastic conversation.
Absolutely. Yes, we have.
Thank you, Uti. Thank you. Thank you so much. So see you next time as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Bye for now.